Hey, my name is Anton and I'm with howtophotoshop.net. Feel free to come and visit my blog if you didn't before. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to create this cool light effect using Photoshop, obviously. So you can use it to make cool backgrounds or maybe like a logo thing. It's up to you. So let's go ahead and open a new file. We'll choose the web presets and this looks okay and press OK. Let's unlock our background by double clicking on it and making it black by pressing shift backspace. And let's create a new layer and let's create a gradient. So we'll go into the gradient and we'll go into the panels, and normally your gradient will be set to solid, but you need to set it to noise and maybe click a couple of times on randomize to make it random colors, sort of like this. It's okay. Press OK and drag the gradient throughout all of your composition. Then go into image, adjust, and hue and saturation, and we want to make it black and white, maybe lighten it up a bit. You'll see why a little bit later. So now we want to scale it down, so we're going to edit, transform, and scale, and we'll scale it down and we'll hold down alt, so we'll scale it down to the middle and maybe a little bit more, and right click on this and we'll choose warp and sort of scale it like this so it will look like a line going out from somewhere. You can scale it up or scale it down to your likings. Yeah, well, I think that looks good. Press enter to accept, and maybe we want to adjust this corner right here to be a little bit smaller. Don't know why it bothered me. So okay, now let's create a new layer for our colors, and we'll go into the brushes by clicking here or clicking B on your keyboard, and make sure your brush is rough, it's with hard edges, and we'll set it a little bit bigger, maybe like 90. Yeah, that looks good. Now we wanna switch up with the colors, so we'll start by going into red and sort of doing like this, maybe a little bit of blue, sort of like this, and maybe some purple. Of course, you don't have to use lots of colors. You can use one color or two colors, whatever you like. Oh, we used blue. Let's use green. And we'll finish it up with some yellow. So that looks good. So let's blur it up a bit. So we'll go into filter, blur, and we'll blur it to hell. I'm kidding, we'll really blur it. So maybe a bit less, sort of like this, so the transmission will be a bit smoother, and press OK. Now it's sort of transparent and it's not good, so we want to duplicate this by holding down alt and dragging it up, and maybe again, so we won't see the background, and again, and we'll merge them together by selecting them all, holding down shift, right click, and merge layers. Now we want to create a mask, so we'll hold down alt, we'll hold on control, I'm sorry, and click on our layer, on the layer we want to create the mask from. So now you see we have the selection, and while we're on the color layer, we'll click on this mask button and we'll just create a mask. Now we want to blend it a little bit, so let's go here and select soft light, maybe duplicate this layer again to make it a little bit more visible, and maybe change the color modes to maybe screen. Well, no, we'll keep it in soft light and we'll do it again. Maybe not, just keep those two together. Now let's merge those layers together by selecting them all, right click and merge layers. We'll duplicate it again by holding down Alt here, and we'll shut this off for a second, and we want to blur this. So we'll go into filter, blur, and less than it was, sort of like this. So we'll have sort of like a glow effect behind it, and I think that looks okay. Maybe you want to add a little curves adjustment so we'll see better the lines here. Sort of like this, and we want to merge them together. Cool. Now we want to hold down Alt and drag it a little bit here, and Control T to access transform options. And with Perp we want to change up the shape, because so they won't look all the same. We want to maybe drag it up a bit and leave a little hole inside, sort of like this. Maybe drag it up, and with the transform maybe shift it like this. Looks cool, but the problem is that it's now they're all in the same color, so maybe you'll want to leave it like that, but I want to switch it up. So we'll select one of them and we'll go into image, adjust hue and saturation, and just adjust the saturation so it will be sort of different, maybe like this. And we'll do the same. Maybe let's go in here and fix it a bit here. We'll go into image, adjust hue and saturation, and drag it to the other side so it will be completely different. It looks cool, and maybe fix it up a bit here so it will look more easy on the eyes, sort of like this. Maybe drag it here. And do it again after you saved it. That looks cool. Now let's add a little shadow by double clicking on them, going into layer styles, and we'll select drop shadow like this, and we'll do the same with the other one. And we don't need to do it for the first one for obvious reasons, because it's on black. Maybe we can switch it up a bit like this. Obviously it will be sort of hard to get the same result twice, but you'll get the technique that I'm using. So maybe move it a bit down, and this rotate a bit down, and maybe stretch it up a bit. Yeah, that looks sort of good. Maybe adjust it just a little bit more. Cool. Now as you can see on our original image, there's like dots there. So we'll select a white color. We'll go into the brushes, make sure it's on rough edge, and we'll go into windows and brushes, and in shape dynamics we'll check it, and the size jitter will up it a bit. The same with the scatter, we'll scatter them all over like this. So now every time that you'll try to paint, it will sort of give you this randomized dots. So you want to make it a little bit smaller and sort of do like this. Maybe a couple of big ones. Yeah, that looks cool. So